family. Family. Might be one of the most important things we're never taught about. Well, we're told and we're bumped into, and man, I don't have enough time. You're listening to the Republic of Texas radio show. I'm Steve O'Brien. I've got Earl in Texas hanging on shotgun. And we don't have enough time to continue that conversation about family and whatnot. Oh, God, I haven't even checked with the producer to see if he's got, the folks from Republic of Texas and from Freedom, Texas on the line. Maybe he can give me a little bit of a cue on that. And you want to talk a little bit more about property rights being important and family for a second, Earl, as we try to rope in our guests?
Yes. In reference to property rights, I'll read from my little pamphlet here, Texas Independence is Real Change, and point number 5 I have written down, property is the enjoyment from the Creator of life bestowed upon mankind. The fulfillment of this natural right to ownership, which promotes the family unit and removes dependency upon government, will be promoted and protected by the Republic of Texas by not placing an immoral tax, which is the property tax, against the people of Texas. Ownership is an absolute in a country that proclaims liberty. If you have full ownership, you can have people coming in, billionaires or whomever, and confiscate your property. Now, they tell us that we have to go across the waters to fight against a bad man, that there's terrorists someplace. Now, I ask the question, who stole the property from the people?
Okay, well, who stole the property? The people that are wanting you to go kill the bad man.
More than likely. And that's where it goes. And until the people say enough is enough, we're going to lawfully and peacefully remove ourselves from a system that is contrary to the founding principles. And those principles of government were based upon, well, we are a Christian nation. Well, of course, it was on the principles of Christianity. I'm not talking about churchianity. I'm talking about Christianity.
Right. Well, here's where I go on property rights. In order to own property, and I love that idea that, you know, from that brook over there to that tree right there, this is mine. This is where my family lives. You know, please don't cross it and stuff like that. But, oh, man, in the case of the United States or even Texas, we know that the property was kind of like seized from the people that actually inhabited it differently than we did, and they didn't homestead, and in a lot of cases they moved around, and then, you know, convolutions happened. It's all been a mess, Earl, and now the United States government, or the corporate U.S., as I like to refer to them, keeps doing that kind of stuff. Hey, we do got half of our, you know, our second hour team on. Hey, you mind if I bring them on there, Earl?
Not at all, sir.
Okay. Paging Peter Richards. Are you there, sir? Hello, Peter Richards.
Hello.
Hey, gotcha, man.
Yeah,
hello,
I'm here.
Okay, great. Well, let's start with the basic one. How are you today, Peter?
Just excellent. It's a good day.
Okay, that's great. Hey, Billy Ford is kind of being hard to wrangle right now. I know he was trying to facilitate this call. He does a church thing on Sunday mornings, and so he was going to sneak out of the service around 9 o'clock and, you know, join us for 45 minutes to talk about, well, the Republic of Texas, Freedom, Texas, and, you know, all that stuff. But maybe we can get you started on it. So Friday, you met with some folks with the Republic of Texas, or not just you. I mean, the Freedom Texas. How did that come about? You know, what's going on there?
Well, that's correct. We actually met for almost the entire day, and the objective was, you know, we've known each other or even about each other for quite some period of time. And we have a very common objective, and so the objective of that get-together, which was a first in terms of the agenda, which was to see how we could work together to achieve the common aim of Texas sovereignty and Texas independence.
Okay, so what did that look like?
It was an exceptionally well-informed and just an excellent meeting. The result of it, and this is probably a first announcement, I guess. So I would have liked to have had someone from ROT on the line here, but the agreement, there were a couple of agreements that came out. One was that we definitely need alliances, and that no one single independence group or organization can achieve independence of Texas on its own. That's just folly. So we agreed that we would actually form a working relationship. I think on your last show, I mentioned that the objective was to form what we called as a working title, Free Texas Alliance. And I believe that that's actually started to happen now with ROT and Freedom Texas coming together in a sort of quasi-formal relationship, still keeping the independence of each group, but in a quasi-formal relationship under the Free Texas Alliance to work together on some very, very key strategic issues about achieving the independence goal.
Yeah. So what does that look like going forward? I mean, I heard that you guys are going to be doing something at Cleburne the same day of September the 12th? You know,
yes.
Is that kind of going to be a little bit different? What does that look like?
That's probably the first public cooperative effort you'll see of the two organizations working together. In the conversation, what unfolded was that in the conversation on Friday, that is, Steve, what unfolded was that there were Freedom Texas has actually executed what we would call its phase one of which had two objectives. One was obviously to establish itself and build membership and interest levels in education, and that's ongoing, by the way. But that's reached a critical mass now, and it's moving forward. And the other part of phase one was to try and find out how can we measure Texas's movements towards independence by measuring its roadmap to sovereignty. You can't be independent without being sovereign, And so that's phase one, and we all agreed on that. That's very important. And then we moved on to the next subject, which was, what do we consider to be priorities right now for phase two? And we chatted to ROT in Freedom Texas, and we actually came out to have the same three priorities that we looked at. And this is it. Priority one is to have some form of political movement. That's priority one. I can go into a bit of detail there later on. Priority two is the militia, an organization of cohesive militia. That's priority two. And priority three was socioeconomics. In other words, what is it that an independent Texas is going to look like the day after? What are its values? A lot of the questions being asked, such as what are we going to have our own currency? Will we still be able to buy peanuts at the local store? Things like this. So that's what we call socioeconomics. So those three areas, ROT and FT, Freedom Texas, we're in absolute agreement on as being the next three things we have to move forward on. Part one, or point one, and they're not in any order of priority, by the way. It's not 1, 2, 3, or any order of sequence. But part one was on the political side. Freedom Texas gambit is to work the current process that we have, either through a separate political party or influence of the current political party, to install platforms that would lead and guide to the existing status quo that we have to either declare independence, or at least be in a position to declare independence, or at least to have a political party that has a platform that can actually include independence. So that's part one. On the ROT side, and we actually agree with ROT on this, which was that if you roll back time, Texas is already an independent country. And there's two foundations which Freedom Texas agrees with ROT on, is that, the 1846 annexation was not either a legal document or was never legally completed, or it's an incomplete process.
Right.
And by osmosis, Texas became a state of the union. So that's fine. Then there's the other foundation, which is that in whether you agree with that or not, 1846 is totally immaterial, because in 1861 Texas declared itself independent anyway, as an independent nation state, which it already was under the Constitution that it joined in 1846. So there's a huge amount of foundation for Republic of Texas's position statement of what it is that they are, which is an elected government. And Freedom Texas agrees with that. I mean, the foundation that ROT is saying has absolute validity. And so that's the method of political standing that ROT is going towards, whereas Freedom Texas is believes in that, but is now moving in trying to move the status quo into a position of independence. So you've got agreement on the politics, and you've now got, between ROT and Freedom Texas, you actually have two independent methods of establishing a government in Texas, an independent government. And that's a good thing to have. You can't have all your eggs in one basket. Either one or the other. The objective is independence of Texas, and when that happens, the two will amalgamate and come together. So I think that's absolute synergy, which is what we were looking for. And then on the other two items, which is the militia, both Republic of Texas and Freedom Texas agree. That is, we have some very highly qualified people in the current militia, but there's a but on it. We also have some other people in the militia, and there's a but on them as well. And what we'd like to see is a more cohesive structure, some form of alliance between all the groups, and perhaps going even further to having them properly established and part of the infrastructure of Texas. But
Peter,
there's a question mark on it. Yes, go ahead.
Hey, Peter, I've got George. George is he's like me. He's from Republic Broadcasting, and he's kind of riding shotgun with me, and we're just exploring and getting to know you. And now he's out in your neck of the woods, right? Hey, where are you exactly there? That's right. You're near Austin, Peter, and you're in Abilene, right, George?
No, this is Earl. I'm up outside of Cleburne.
Okay, that's right. Why do I keep calling you George?
Have not a clue.
Good question. Hey, Earl, you should ask him that.
Hey, what do you think of this, Earl?
On your three phases here that you're talking about, I'm going to go to your number 2, which is the militia that you're describing. Now, since, as I had mentioned moments ago, that we have all been conditioned in this country to accept people confiscating property or whatever the case may be. People have also been conditioned through the use of words, because words will manipulate the masses, and the word militia has been turned into a very, very dirty word, a very scary word for many folks. And to bring that forth, that I think is just going to have people backtrack from the movement, if you would call it a movement. So that has to be dealt with, with really delicate hands. It has to have a lot of thought brought forth into it. And the gentleman before made mention of people running around in camos. He's exactly right. There's no need for that kind of activity. Another word for militia is found, I believe, in the preamble of the Constitution. We the people. That's a given. Because as I point out in point number 4 in my Texas Independence is Real Change, indicate by nature all people are free and independent. Therefore, societies are formed to collectively promote and defend their individual liberty. And it goes on a little bit. But that's a natural instinct. But to inform the people of their natural instinct, I believe, and unfortunately, time is not on our side, but the people have to be informed by building blocks, indicating, hey, you have basic rights that have been already taken from you. And so once people start learning a little bit about what has been taken from them, and they could talk about it around their supper table as they sit down for supper at family time, then you can start building knowledge, and it will move out to the front porch and eventually through your neighborhood.
Hey,
but I have, it's a delicate subject, and
right,
I'm all
the word
in favor of it, but it's a delicate subject.
And the word is kind of brutal. Hey, Peter, the first hour we had Chuck Smith on. He's out from Crowley, Texas, and he was talking about that, and I was asking about militias, and we always talk about Freedom Texas. We're talking about your strategies and plans and so forth. Hey, I had some communication errors earlier. I was trying to bring Billy Ford on, and he was waiting in the wings, and now we got him on. So I'm going to kind of ping the word militias off of him. Hey, Billy, are you there? No, Billy?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
I'm here. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, and you missed the first hour too. We were just going over a recap of the several points, the 3 points that everything was coming down to, and I guess what we were calling the Free Texas Alliance. Or maybe I'm getting that wrong, but we were talking about militias, and last hour we were talking about militias and how that word has been demonized over a long period. Now Freedom Texas has a position where they're going after all those stray cats that call themselves militias to try to rope them in to harness that human energy and so forth, to gain a free and independent Texas. I like that idea. But there's that stigma. How do we deal with that? What do you know about the militias? Do you feel that they've been stigmatized? Can you add anything?
Well, I got in just on the tail end of your conversation there about militias, and I have to agree with you that the Constitution of the United States provided for that. Anybody that thinks that you don't have the right to defend yourself needs to go all the way back. That's a biblical principle, because even in the Bible, the scriptures say that if the strong man had known what hour his house would be broken into, he would not have suffered it to be so. So we have a right to defend ourselves, and we have the right to defend our property, and that's basically what a militia is. Now, if it's just me, I'd stand alone, but if it's my neighbor, and I join in to help my neighbor, then I guess you could call that a militia, because we stand together to do something like that. It'd be the same thing as a house fire, wouldn't it?
Right.
You wouldn't expect your neighbor to fight his house fire by himself. If you lived next door, you'd go over and give him a hand, wouldn't you?
Right.
That's kind of the way I look at a militia. I personally am not involved in any, and I know a few people that are. I'll just kind of leave it at that.
Here's how this is playing out right now. We're not talking about forming militias, right? That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the word being used as a strategic thing, and it's kind of got that poison hanging off of it, right? And it's got a little nasty. Well, it was given to it in the 90s, right? As the groups called militias were demonized and so forth. Because Freedom Texas is right. It's going after people that care, that matter. Well, Earl was just saying that that might be detrimental. Is that the music? It sure is. So, crank up the music. Let's take the break. And
recent events have shown just how vulnerable we are to deadly viruses, bacteria, and fungus. These diseases are all caused by infectious pathogens that often get the upper hand on conventional medical treatments. Now more than ever, there's a great need for a product that will help protect us. Look no further. Supernatural Silver can provide immune system support to help fight off these deadly pathogens. Supernatural Silver is a new and vastly improved type of silver solution that's safe and extremely effective against 143 types of bacteria, both forms of viruses, mold, and yeast. Supernatural Silver can be taken orally or used topically and can be used in a nebulizer or vaporizer for inhalation. With over 180 scientific studies by independent universities, hospitals, and research institutions, Supernatural Silver is a powerful weapon against disease. Go to supernaturalsilver.com and use the promo code SILVER2014 for 20% off your entire order. Give you and your loved ones a fighting chance with Supernatural Silver.
There are many water filters to choose from, but there is only one system that is consistently customer rated 5 stars as the #1 system for effective filtration of fluoride, radiation, drug residues, heavy metals, a wide range of radioisotopes, and more. Introducing the Pure Effect Ultra, the next generation water filter that also raises alkaline pH, improves antioxidant potential, and has advanced anti-radiation technology, all while using no electricity. Sold worldwide, it provides virtually instant clean water on demand. It is not made in China, and the shipping is free to all 50 states. Buy your Pure Effect Ultra today by visiting PureEffectFilters.com. or call 888-891-4821. Again, that's 888-891-4821. Or visit PureEffectFilters.com.
Hi, my name is David Merlin from TakeFromCaesar.us. Income is defined in the tax code. All property is a cost, including labor, according to statute. You're deprived of the provisions of Section 83 whenever you pay an income tax on your compensation. According to Section 83, only the excess over the amount paid is gross income. The government can't so much as provide an interpretation of Section 83 of its own. Get your paradigm shift and understanding today at TakeFromCaesar.us.
There are many water filters to choose from, but there's only one, Pure Effect Ultra. It features advanced anti-radiation technology and is constantly rated 5 stars as the #1 system for reduction of fluoride, drug and chemtrail residues, heavy metals, and more. It raises alkaline pH, improves antioxidant potential, and provides virtually instant clean water on demand, all while using no electricity. Want to learn more? Visit PureEffectFilters.com. That's PureEffectFilters.com.
You know, the best thing for the world would be a free and independent Texas, a state or a nation or a country, you know, group of people coming together and reforming a thing that we call a republic, a, well, bottoms-up government, if you want to call it that, would set a great example in the world, and maybe freedom will start reigning. And if you disagree with me, stay on. Well, keep listening. And, well, next week I'll let you call in. We'll do more of a call-in show. This week I have two important guests on the line. I have Billy Ford and Peter Richards. I also have Earl in Texas. He's riding shotgun. He's important too. I don't want to, just tear it away from that. But Billy Ford only has a few moments with us because it's kind of a work day. He's got to run back to Sunday school in a minute. And we were talking about militias and the strategy of, trying to rope them all in. I believe you had something to say there, Billy.
I did, Mr. O'Brien, and I think it's the media is the one that has villainized the militia. Actually, there's nothing wrong with that. It should be and ought to be part of our society. Also, it's the same thing as with the Republic of Texas. The media has villainized the Republic of Texas so that everybody listens to the media, thinks, well, the Republic of Texas is a bunch of people that'll round you up and hold you hostage and hang you or whatever else. I don't know. But we've got a bad light because nobody wants to listen. They only want to spew out their take on it, and everybody goes back to the Richard McLaren incident back in 1995. What they won't tell you is that the Republic of Texas had already withdrawn from Richard McLaren, and he acted on his own. He's still acting on his own in federal penitentiary.
Mm-hmm.
It has nothing to do with the Republic of Texas. They completely withdrew from him and got away from him altogether.
Yeah, I've heard that story quite a few times now. It's kind of crazy. Hey, and just hang in there, Peter and Earl. Billy, I got you in a little bit late, and Peter started telling us about the events of Friday. I'd like to hear your overview. What happened on Friday? You know, you came together with the Republic of Texas and Freedom Texas, and you talked about what was going on. What did you do?
We had a meeting, and it was just to see if we had any common ground. And as it turns out, we have a lot in common. There are very few things that we actually differ on. But Mr. Richards and Mr. Attaway and Mr. Kiefer all have they have a 3-point process they're working toward. The Republic of Texas has done something a little bit different. We're going after them. We're going after the United States and after not just the United States. We're going after the world on an international venue. And up until a few years ago, until I started studying international law, I thought Texas had been annexed. There's no legal annexation. Blah blah blah. Well, we've been captive for about 150 years, so they've got to have something to hold us in place. And we figured out what holds us in place, and now we're going after their Achilles heel, and that's exactly where we are. We explained some of that to Mr. Richards, Mr. Kiefer, and Mr. Attaway yesterday, and they had never thought of that. And to be honest with you, until about 3 years ago, I had neither. But we have very good footing, and we have the world behind us, and we can get this done. The Republic of Texas can stand alone as a nation in the world like it's supposed to be.
Right. Hey, Peter, what are your thoughts?
Well, I want to make a comment here, Billy, and that is this is totally unrehearsed broadcasting that you're hearing, and it is good to hear the fact that we left the meeting with the same impression.
I know.
So I agree with, as I said in the beginning, I agree completely with what Billy's saying. I mean, it was new news to us, and we're approaching the independence with one political direction. Republic of Texas is approaching it on another political direction. They're both good. We're going to support each other in either one of those moves. Quite frankly, we don't care which one comes off first, but one has to come off. And where, in fact, there's going to be traction, there's going to be us working together to help each other achieve those objectives. I think ROT has absolute foundation for doing what it is that they're doing, and Freedom Texas supports that 100%. But you don't want everybody doing one thing, so we're working in parallel on the political movements of how to achieve independence, helping each other, and we're going to be working in unison on the steps.
Yeah, that's the short segment, folks. We got a longer segment. We got about another 15 minutes left with Billy Ford, and we'll bring it to the top of the hour with Peter Richards. And we got Earl in Texas' Shotgun today.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
This is a public announcement. Be ready to copy down a website address at the end of this message. First off, a big thank you to people from Oregon, California, New York, Maine, Connecticut, Saskatchewan, Canada. People are logging on to landho.tv and they are purchasing land in the United States in sunny New Mexico for as low as $350 down and $99 a month. In 1 year, you own the land. These are usable parcels in a development that can only be worth more money in the years to come. Similar lots in the same development have sold for up to $15,000 $1,000. So it really is a no-brainer. Visit landho.tv to purchase yours today via PayPal. Other mainstream investments are good, but they sit in a vault. Land remains a true investment that you can use while it can increase in value. Current land prices are already going up, and this commercial could be pulled at any time, so you must act fast, because when these properties are gone, they're gone. $350 down, $99 a month. Landho.tv. LANDHO.tv. Right now.
Has your dancing and romancing done gone away? Are you moaning and a-groaning from the stresses of the day? Are you reeling and a-peeling because a headache's on the way? Well, relax for just a moment. Stress relief is on the way. Of what am I speaking, you ask? The essential oils of long historic use, the wisdom of the ages, the health care of the ancients, frankincense, myrrh, hyssop, and hundreds of others too numerous to mention. What could be more appealing? Do you know that Young Living Essential Oils has an element of life that makes them extremely effective in body rejuvenation? This element is called vibration, and it works with body systems, not against them. The professionals at Divine Living Oils have tested and been so impressed with this product that we are using them to help others. And who are we? We are health professionals with many years' experience. Trust us, we have seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. Our motto? Because we care about you. Do your health and spirit a great favor. Call us at 304-542-4226. That's 304-542-4226. Again, that's 304-542-4226.
Whew, nice shooting. Hey, that's a sweet AK-47 chest rig. Is that multicam?
Yep, got it from StrikeHardGear.com.
Strike what?
StrikeHardGear.com.
Set your sights on StrikeHardGear.com. Tough, tactical gear for your Soviet-style weapon that's made in the USA. Affordable, plus a no-questions-asked 30-day money-back guarantee and lifetime replacement warranty. StrikeHardGear.com. Go ahead. Pull the trigger.
Come to Finca Baiano, a small community in Panama, which is being established for people who believe that a future crisis may be difficult to survive in North America after a collapse of the system. Go to bugoutpanama.com for more information. There is limited space for 100 people only. Go to bugoutpanama.com to immigrate as long as you can. Prepare. Don't despair at bugoutpanama.com.
Dr. Joel Wallach, author of the famous health lecture, Dead Doctors Don't Lie, presents his newest book, Epigenetics. Epigenetics is required reading for the very survival of Americans, and yes, all of humanity. Modern man has bet on the wrong horse to save them from disease and pestilence. The medical system has failed us fearfully. Join the health revolution. Buy Epigenetics today and receive a free membership to purchase all the products that Dr. Joel Wallach formulated at wholesale prices and receive a free CD of Dead Doctors Don't Lie. All this for only $25 plus shipping and handling. Call 888-311-4311. That's 888-311-4311. Again, that's just $25 plus shipping and handling. And you'll receive the new book, Epigenetics, a free membership, and a free CD of Dead Doctors Don't Lie. Call 888-311-4311. That's 888-311-4311.
You know, it's time to, refocus on Earl. You're listening to the Republic of Texas Radio. I'm your host, Steve O'Brien. I have Peter Richards on the line. He's with Freedom Texas, as well as Billy Ford from the Republic of Texas. And they're talking about, the first little get-together between the Republic, official, I don't know how official anything is, official get-together that occurred, last Friday, August the 21st. Hey, Earl, You've heard a little bit about these folks. Have you ever studied the Freedom Texas guys or the Republic of Texas guys? And what do you think? What are you hearing here?
Well, I haven't studied them or anything, but what I'm hearing is a good thing. Because, as I had mentioned prior broadcast, I think it was last week with you, first half hour, I indicated the importance of working with all groups, but at the same time, you're going to keep separate. That way there won't be any problem internally. At least the least amount of problems. But no, working together, pulling together is a good thing because there's strength in numbers, as they would say. And I'm in favor of that.
Yeah, I think that's incredible. well, this one maneuver, kind of gave me a lot of hope and direction. Hey, if anybody wants to, see the next landmark event, that would be on Saturday, the 12th in Cleburne, right? Cleburne, Texas, and that's where you're going to have the Republic of Texas is going to be swearing in the 20th Congress and moving forward and doing their stuff. And there's something else with the Freedom Texas folks are going to be there too. I didn't get any details on that. Billy, do you want to fill me in on that? Or do you have any information about that? Or maybe Peter? Which one of you two guys?
Let Peter tell you. I'm not aware of whatever their schedule is. I just know that they're going to be. They meet in Cleburne, but I think it's a Tuesday night or Friday night, so I can't speak to that. But Mr. Richards can.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Billy. Before I speak to that, I just want to go back to a comment that Earl made about the militia and naming conventions and the demonization. I think it's become fairly commonplace. I absolutely agree with what Earl said, by the way, and Billy reiterated it as well. But I think we're also saying that we can't be held ransom to demonization of words, and so we can't waste time trying to ferret out a duplicity of meaning simply because it's politically correct. I think, there's a gentleman running around the country right now saying that the time for political correctness is over. And I think as we get into the last mile here of Texas independence, we've got to be the same. So I agree with Earl, but I'm also adding in the flavor there that we aren't going to be held to ransom with our language, and that's how the meaning of the word militia is.
That's great.
So going back to September the 12th, yes, I mean we're having a Freedom Texas meeting there. It's very large. Anywhere from 70 to 80 people turn up at any one point in time, and this will be the first time that, as part of our alliance and new working relationship, that we've invited Republic of Texas in to the meeting. I mean, they're not closed meetings anyway. Anyone that's interested can walk up and be there. But we want to hear from ROT what it is they have to say. They're going to be part of the meeting. And it's just a question of getting all of our acts together for that common aim.
Yeah. Hey, Billy, what do you think about all this movement that's been kind of recent? Just the last couple of years since the Freedom Texas came into being, and Republic of Texas, we're like, it's been going on 10 years, but you've been involved for a long time, right? And you've seen Texas independence moving from the beginning. Well, from a beginning, right?
Yeah, I didn't get. I think they actually started at Bull Verde in 1995, and I didn't come on board until 1999. And I've been in. It's either 98 or 99. I don't remember, but I've been involved with it ever since then. And I've seen a lot of things happen, but we have done some things that establish us as a people. And when you do that, and we kind of knew all along that we had to go a certain way. You can't just go out there and harem scare them, do things, change the rules in the middle of the game or whatever else, like a lot of governments do. So we had to follow a set procedure to get that done, and that's exactly what we've done. And we've been doing that since 1995. There was about 10 years we went in there that we didn't get anything accomplished. We were trying to find our feet. Nobody ever knew how to run a government or set anything up or anything else. And then in 2005, we elected officers to fill the positions that were vacated by the Republic of Texas when Texas was annexed. And so we filled those positions, and we've been doing that ever since. So we actually have a government in place. It's a functional government, and we're under a military occupation right now, so we can't do some things. And in fact, the business, there was a raid on our meeting in February because we sent 2 pieces of paper to some officials in Kerr County, and they came and raided our meeting. They confiscated phones. They did a lot of things that were unnecessary and unreasonable to the people that were gathered there. And we have a public meeting. It's not a private meeting. Anybody can come. So, that kind of that kind of left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. In fact, the business, it got us a lot of publicity because the world says, hey, why did you do that? And you can't do that to those people. But they consistently do it anyway. But all along, we've tried to follow a path that's done everything that's done lawfully and legally. And we don't want to do anything that's not right. So now we've got, since we did all this study in the international law, we found that the things that we were doing were done correctly, and now we have a standing of sorts, and I'm not at liberty to tell you what all we've done, but some of those things will become apparent in the next few weeks or months, and everybody's going to know what's happening. We've kind of swatted a hornet's nest, and we're waiting for them to start buzzing out of there. So if you guys hear that I committed suicide, or some of the other people in the Republic of Texas committed suicide or died in plane crashes and that kind of stuff, you know that it didn't happen. We're not part of that. We're not looking to commit suicide. So anyway, we have a lot of really good things going on, and believe it or not, you have a right to do. We have a right. I'm not saying you because I'm one of you. We have a right to do what we're doing. And there are certain obligations that the United States has to follow, which they haven't been since the time they started. But we've done the research, and we know where we are, we know what we can do and what we're supposed to be doing, and we're going to try to hold them accountable to that. And actually what this amounts to, when we get this thing done, and Texas is a nation again, then we'll have what Freedom Texas is trying to do, and that's establish these constitutional sheriffs and constitutional governments in our counties. Our counties are our strongest point. The people in the county elect a sheriff, and that sheriff has the authority in that county to do a lot of things. And so that's what we want. We want a sheriff to get on our side. Now, there's a lot of them that aren't, and a lot of these policy enforcers or law enforcement officers, they have no idea what they do. They just do what they're told to do, and they think they're right, and you know, they just do whatever they're predisposed to do. But we want somebody that follows the Constitution, that follows international law, and follows procedure, and we can do those things in those counties, and that's exactly what we're looking for as remedy for all the people, everybody, not just one or two, but for everybody. And if Texas gets to the place where we can do that, then we'll stand as a nation in the world and probably be the 12th or 13th largest nation in the world.
Hey, Billy.
Yes, sir.
You know, thank you so much for joining. Sorry it took you a little while to get you on the phone. You know, this is kind of a strange assemblage. You know, two guests and Earl with me. A lot of people, a lot of talk. I need to get you back on again. I know you've been on the show, is it once or twice before? I'm not too sure.
I think just once. But I can say to the top of the hour, I have already arrived at my destination. I can say it to the top of the hour if you need to talk to me a little bit more. But I love the show, and I like the meeting. And
I want to switch the focus back to Earl. There's a reason I brought him on, because, you know, I have my questions, my understanding, but Earl has been working for a free and independent Texas, you know, for a long time by himself, and, well, with whoever would, you know, help him with that concept. And he's got to have a lot of questions for you, too, you know, because Billy Ford has been around since the 90s pushing for the Republic of Texas. And Peter Richards, you know, he's part of that dynamic group we call Freedom Texas right now, which is growing by leaps and bounds. Hey, Earl, why don't you go ahead and talk to those folks, figure out what's going on. You have a lot of questions, I'm sure.
Well, I want to start by making a comment with Billy. Basically, what we have done every 4th of July is celebrate what Billy just had mentioned in his last few sentences, you know, that we have that natural right of independence. And it starts off with our Declaration. Of course, we know all about that when in the course of human events it becomes necessary. And it is necessary now. So I appreciate the comments there from Billy. I had it on the point number 3, social economics. after the day that Texas reclaims her independence? It's a good question. What happens the day after? And I think that's going to be a vital part in the educational part of presenting to the people. Now, you take, for instance, all the folks who were coerced into a contract as a minor, and I'm talking about the Social Security system. We were forced into it without any alternative. So you have a lot of folks that, if we cut the cord with the U.S. government, a lot of folks had put in all their lives into this system. They've got to have some sort of payment. Of course, they're not going to get it from the federal government because we're done with them. So these type of questions has to be hammered out to
I've heard them
bring
hammered
forth
out
to the people.
I've heard those hammered out, and
okay.
Which one of you wants to talk to that point, Peter, Billy?
Well, either one. I'd like to hear comments from both. That way the folks out here would have some sort of idea.
Okay. Hey, Peter, what do you think? What about the folks' Social Security and all that other stuff that they've paid in, and they it just go away, or what's the deal on that? Do you know?
Well, actually, it doesn't go away. I mean, that is money owed to those people that have paid it in, so it's a debt. Debts, contracts like that survive governments. Otherwise, you wouldn't have treaties or any act of Congress surviving one election going to the next. So that money survives. The question is, how do you get hold of it? It is a very, very important point. In fact, that's probably one of the reasons why the Scottish nationalist vote failed, was because no one had given enough thought to that process of transition. And that's what ROT and Freedom Texas are going to be working on, is those socioeconomic questions of that. The other thing, too, though, is that an independent Texas would have its own currency, and the debt transfer could move across into the new Texas government for those social pensions. And when you think about the absolute wastage that goes on with the federal government in some of their spending programs, such as, just to give an example here, perhaps studies in the backwoods of somewhere for the mating of butterflies, those sorts of programs that are funded, all those things will actually hopefully come to a stop, and as some reality comes into the governmental process and what it is that they spend their money on. In other words, fiscal responsibility. So it is a very important point. I mean, Earl hits it right on the head. We need to actually work a process and have access to information on how that transfer will occur. But it is absolute. The way that Freedom Texas sees it is that those types of programs for the welfare and well-being and the prosperity of Texians must be maintained and is paramount. Just like the veterinary program, the veterans program as well. That's another area that needs to be addressed. So we think that there's going to be a balance of payments where monies will be released, and all those things will actually be able to be sustained. That's the objective.
Billy, you want to add to that?
I agree with what Mr. Richards said. That Social Security is a contract. Now, whether they honor their part of the contract is yet to be seen, and I would be surprised that if they do. But the other thing is we have a lot of money in Texas, and we have to stop that money from leaving Texas when Texas takes over. There's 3 different accounts that they keep up with, and you just can't imagine how much money it is. If we get to a place where we have to do that, we have a plan, albeit it may not be complete. We have a plan for that transition, and we intend to do that. Here's another way of looking at that, so you might understand, or so the average person could understand that. Right now, we have somebody up there that's writing checks, and he's just writing whatever comes along. He writes them. They don't care. It's not their money, and it's just money. And so they do this, they do that, and it just goes. Well, we have somebody that's responsible and somebody that can oversee that. We can understand. We can see who needs to be paid and who doesn't need to be paid. Now, I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure about the Social Security. That's a contract that's totally different. Also, in studying international law, you have to understand that the occupying power has certain obligations that they have to do. That's the reason they tax you out the teeth, because they're doing it for your good. It's kind of like for the children, you know. We're going to kill you for your children's good. So it's
right.
You can't survive because we're going to tax you to death, so that and we're all doing it just for the children. Well, there's a bloated bureaucracy that needs to be taken care of, and we can do that. And so that'll be taken care of. The other thing is the other part of the social and economic part is we have a system right now. It's not, we haven't moved on this, but we know it exists. We have people that would come in here and set up a free trade area in Texas that would be huge. You just can't imagine how much that would add to Texas. And all we need to do is secure our borders and get the riffraff out of here, and then we can make Texas a prosperous place. I hear the music. I got to stop.
Yep, you got to stop for a second. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Republic of Texas Radio.
Extendivite really works. Here is what people are saying.
Oh, I had a problem with breathing. When I started to do some walking, I had a problem. I had a heart attack, my second one. I take this pill and I feel great.
I had 3 bypass 10 years ago, and I was in bed almost 24 hours a day, and painkillers out of this world. I started taking this. I'm down to almost no painkillers at all, and it helped my circulation 100%. My medical doctor, and I went to see him, and he could not believe it. There's no way he could have went down that fast. He could not believe it. I showed him what I was taking. He said, don't stop taking it. I wouldn't do without it. It's unbelievable.
To get your Extendivite, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Dr. Joel Wallach, author of the famous health lecture Dead Doctors Don't Lie, presents his newest book, Epigenetics. Epigenetics is required reading for the very survival of Americans, and yes, all of humanity. Modern man has bet on the wrong horse to save them from disease and pestilence. The medical system has failed us fearfully. Join the health revolution. Buy Epigenetics today and receive a free membership to purchase all the products that Dr. Joel Wallach formulated at wholesale prices, and receive a free CD of Dead Doctors Don't Lie. All this for only $25 plus shipping and handling. Call 888-311-4311. That's 888-311-4311. Again, that's just $25 plus shipping and handling. And you'll receive the new book, Epigenetics, a free membership, and a free CD of Dead Doctors Don't Lie. Call 888-311-4311. That's 888-311-4311.
This is a public announcement. Be ready to copy down a website address at the end of this message. Friends, you've heard our commercial talking about land in New Mexico for $350 down and $99 a month, and we really appreciate your response. But land parcels are getting scarce. Current prices are already going up, and the commercial message you're hearing now could be pulled at any time. So you should act quickly. Our company acquired this development at a great price, and we're able to sell parcels to you at an unheard of $350 down and $99 a month. And at the end of only 1 year, you own it. Purchase via PayPal at landho.tv, LANDHO.tv. And this isn't a swampland deal, folks. This is your chance to own a piece of our great nation in the foothills of a beautiful mountain range. A perfect place to camp anytime or have as an emergency retreat for your family for generations to come. And at $350 down and only $99 a month, it's a no-brainer. Land as a gift or a hedge against economic disaster. Visit landho.tv, LANDHO.tv right now.
Okay. Got about 4 minutes and 50 seconds left in the show. I'm Steve O'Brien. You're listening to Republic of Texas Radio. I've got Earl. He's riding shotgun. Billy Ford from the Republic of Texas. And Peter Richards from Freedom, Texas on the line. And Billy was just, answering the question about Social Security and all those kind of benefits and how we deal with those after Texas independence. And then, of course, Billy tried to drag me down another rabbit trail, which would be free trade within the borders of the United States, within this Republic of Texas. But Earl, that was your question. You wanted to know about the social thing. So what did you get out of those answers? And remember, we only have about 4 minutes left.
No, okay, I'll make it real brief. I think it's got to go more in depth for the people. I don't know if your organizations could put it in the pamphlet form. This is what we plan to do, or whatever the case may be. But it has to be really hammered out carefully. And at the same time, as we try to educate the folks that there won't be any more confiscation of your money for Social Security, because this is not government's function. We got to go back to that family unit again and owning property.
Real quick, let's address that. Peter, expanding that communication and that model. What do you guys think? Got a couple minutes.
Well, I agree with that. I mean, we've got to go into a series of white papers on this, which are platforms, in one way, political platforms that we stand behind. So coming out of that item 3, the socioeconomic issues, such as Social Security, veterans, military, all those sorts of things, the value of your money, are we going to be on the gold standard, all those sorts of things need to be in a series of published platforms, white papers that actually clearly lay out, at least to a further level than we have now. So I agree with Earl, and that is part of what Freedom Texas is going to be working with ROT on.
Hey, Billy, Ed Brenham, he's working on something similar down those lines. Am I wrong, incorrect? We've had thoughts about this. What do you think?
Well, one of the things that Freedom Texas is and the Republic of Texas is working on is education for the people. We have access to cable television, and we need someone to present the material all the time. It's kind of like updating a website. You got to have something new all the time. We very much need to pull the trigger on that and get that going, so we can educate the people and tell them what we're going to do. It doesn't have to be in pamphlet form, although we can do that. We just need people that understand what needs to be done and understand how to implement the program to start telling the people, and then we can get some really, really bright people on our side that can step in and help us do that. Well, we have access to television, and we can reach a lot of people to do that. And we're going to do that. I just don't know when. Yeah.
I know, and I'll talk to you guys about television. We ran out of time again. Dang it. But I appreciate all you guys. And in closing, I just want to tell everybody, look, get involved. Go to freedomtexas.org or thetexasrepublic.com. They're two different areas. Even the Texas Nationals, they've got a lot of stuff going for them too. But, Freedom Texas is so dynamic, it would be a shame. And yeah, I know Chuck just went and signed up right after he got off the phone. And I know he does it. He doesn't tell me, any falsehoods. But you can come meet him before you do anything. That would be in Cleburne, Texas on the 12th of July. You can go to thetexasrepublic.com. It'll give you a map to how to get there, or tune in next week. We'll be talking about the Valentine's Day raid. Dr. David Krupa, maybe he'll join us next week. He tried to dial in, and I didn't really have enough. I had too many voices online, and I kind of really needed to talk to these gentlemen. We had a wonderful thing happen on Friday, and I really needed to tell the world about it. You're watching the world change. Well, there you go. I get a 2-minute soapbox. Next week I'll change it. I got 10 seconds. What would I do for 10 seconds? Maybe I'll sing it. Huh?
The word vigor is defined in the dictionary as health and strength in body and mind. Do you have enough health and strength in body and mind? Would you like to pursue life with passion? Would you like to know where you stand when it comes to your vigor score? That's right. There's a free scientific test you can take now that'll help you find out what your vigor score is. Then you can do things to improve that score. Did you know that? It's absolutely free, Free. All you got to do is get a hold of Kurt Crosby. You can do so, C-U-R-T, that's Kurt, C-U-R-T, at LibertyRoundtable.com, or call Kurt at 801-669-2211. That's 801-669-2211. Would you like to learn about the scientifically proven Vigor test? It's free. How would you like to improve your Vigor score? Again, inexpensive solutions are available now. Call Kurt Crosby at 801-669-2211 or Kurt, C-U-R-T, at LibertyRoundtable.com for your free Vigor score test today.
You're listening to the Republic Broadcasting Network because you can handle the truth.